area of a triangle. In today's lesson, we will be looking at working out the area of a triangle. It's a high-level question where you have to use some trigonometry to work out the area of a triangle. So let's have a look at the background behind the formula of an area of a triangle first. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw myself a triangle here. I'm going to say this angle here is 43 degrees. This side is 8 centimeters. On that side there is 10 centimeters. There's a lot of work involved in some other type of questions that you can be asked to answer in GCSEs, and we will look at these later on. But this is the background to do with the formula. Right, we need to know how to calculate the area of this triangle. Can we work out the area of a triangle? Now you must be used to using base times height divided by 2. Yeah. Now, can we find the area of this triangle? Well, we need the base and the height. Okay, we have the base, don't we? But we just need the height because that's what we don't have. So I'm just going to draw myself a line here, and that is my height, isn't it? Now, what I can do is I can use this triangle here, if I highlight it, to work out the height of my triangle by using trigonometry. Because let's have a look. I have got the opposite and I've got the hypotenuse. So let's just quickly draw our little triangles out, 3 of them. Okay. So Toa, that's going to help us, isn't it? Now we want to work out the opposite, don't we? Because that's the height. And we've got the opposite and the hypotenuse. Which one uses the opposite and hypotenuse? This one. So we're going to be using this triangle here. So that's going to be sine. So we're going to do sine 43 equals, now it's opposite over hypotenuse. So that's the height, isn't it? It's height over 8. Now, in order to work out the height, I've got to rid of a divide by 8. So I'm going to times both sides by 8. And I'm left with 8 times sine 43 equals height. And I'm just going to write that like this. Height equals 8 times sine 43. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I think I missed this. That is actually supposed to be 40. Okay, so let's change that over to 40, otherwise this won't work. I'm just going to change that as well, just a small minor mistake that I made. Okay. Okay, right. So now we know what the height is. The height is 8 times sine 40. Now we know that the area of a triangle is half, well, base times height divided by 2. So I'm just going to write that out there. So area is a half times base times height, or you could do base times height divided by 2. It's exactly the same thing. So that there and that there is exactly the same thing, just written a different way. So I'm going to have area is a half. Well, I know what the base is. The base is 10. Okay, times 8 times sine 40. Okay, and just have a look there. The formula of how to work out the area of a triangle is a half times A times B times sine C. I don't really have to change the sine 40, but it's absolutely fine. But have a look at that. What's happened here? I've got the half. Yeah. My A was one of the sides of my triangle. B was the other side of my triangle, and it's sine 40, sine of the angle, and that's where the area of a triangle comes from, okay? Because we need to know the height, which is, you know, to use base times height divided by 2. So we're still technically using base times height divided by 2, but the B times sine C actually comes from the trigonometry bit, because we're going to have to use trigonometry to work out the height. So this here is the formula for area of a triangle, which we will be using. So I'm just going to write that out. Area equals a half times A times B times sine C. Okay, and I'm just going to get rid of that because sometimes the laptop changes it. There we are. Okay, so let's have a look. Here, there's one more thing that we haven't covered before we move on. If you notice, the sides 10 and 8 are sandwiched between the angle. your sides have to be sandwiched between your angle, otherwise you won't get the correct answer. Okay, so have a look. 40, there's 8 and there's 10. Okay, it's sandwiched between. So let's have a look at a few examples then. I'm just going to draw a few of these out. Okay, so I'm going to draw myself a triangle here. I'm going to label that as, I don't know, let's just say 40 degrees. I'm going to label that as 8 centimeters and that as 11 centimeters. Can I use a half AB sine C on this triangle? Now remember, the two sides have to be sandwiched between the angle, and yes, that side and that side there are sandwiched between the angle, so yes, I will be able to use the sine rule in this triangle. Let's have a look at a different one. Okay, I'm going to say that's 42 degrees. That there is 36 degrees. I have got 7 centimeters and 9 centimeters. Can I use the half AB sine C on this triangle given what I have? Okay, I probably will be able to use half AB sine C if I work some other things out for some of the triangles I'm going to draw, but by just looking at it, by given what I have, can I use this half AB sine C rule? No, I can't, because look, this side and this side, the angle that's between them should have been here, which we don't have. I know I can work it out, but at the moment, I don't have it, therefore I won't be able to use the half AB sine C rule. Let's have a look at another one. So I'm going to say that is, I don't know, 42 degrees. That there is 7 centimeters, that there is 10 centimeters. Okay. Well, if the side was sandwiched between this angle, I would need this side. Therefore, no, I can't use this triangle. Let's have a look at another example. Okay, I'm going to say that is 54 degrees. I'm going to have 9 centimeters, 14 centimeters. Well, that side there and that side there sandwiched between that angle. Therefore, I can use the half AB sine C rule. Okay, let's actually get on to working out the triangle or the area then. Okay, let's have a look. I've got a triangle here. That there is 37 degrees. That there is 7.3 centimeters. That there is 5.8 centimeters. Okay, first of all, I want to work out the area of this triangle. So I'm going to write down my formula, a half AB sine C. It's not base times height divided by 2 because I've got an angle involved and I do not know the height. So I'm going to do a half. Well, my sides are sandwiched between this angle. So I'm going to write 7.3 times 5.8 times sine 37. Okay, and I'm just going to work that out on my calculator. I'm going to do 0.5 times 7.3 times 5.8 times sine 37, and I end up with 12.7. I'm just going to do it to one decimal place, 1 dp up and centimeters squared because it's area. Okay, just double check the units. And there we are, we've worked out the area of this triangle. Let's have a look at another question then. Okay, there we are. I'm going to say that there is 118 degrees. This here is 16.2 meters and that there is 7.4 meters. Okay, right, let's work out the area then. Is a half AB sine C. Okay, so again, we look at the angle. Okay, that side and that side is sandwiched between that angle. So I can just use a half AB sine C, a half times, well, it doesn't matter. This could be A, that could be B, or vice versa, times 7.4 times 16.2 times sine 118. Okay, and I'm just going to tap into my calculator, sine 118, and I end up with, just going to round this up again, 52.9 centimeters. Oh, that's incorrect. It's not centimeters, it's meters squared. I'm just going to write 1 dp in brackets for the examiner to know that's what I have done. Okay. Rightio. Let's have a look then at some other type of questions that you could be asked to answer in the exams. Okay, so that was straightforward, very simple. Let's have a look at something else then. I'm going to draw myself a triangle. Okay, I'm going to say that is 38 degrees. Oops. Okay, that side there is 7 centimeters. That side there is A. Okay, we are given the area, which is 30 centimeters squared, and we have to work out the side that is A. Okay, so let's have a look then. We know that the area of a triangle is a half AB sine C. Yeah, so where the area is, I'm going to write a half AB sine C equals 30 centimeters squared, because that's the area. Now, I'm going to do a half times A. I'm going to leave A as it is. My B is going to be 7. Is that 7? Just, yep, 7 before I write the wrong number down. Times sine 38 would give me 30. Now, there's a few things that you can do here. You can either get rid of the sine 38, then get rid of the number 7, then get rid of the half, or what you can do is multiply the numbers here. So I'm just going to do 0.5 times 7 times sine 38, and I end up with a long decimal number. A times 2.154815164 equals 30. Always make sure you write down the full decimal, otherwise you will have a rounding error in your answer. Now, how do you get rid of a times by 2.154815164? Well, I divide that by on both sides, don't I? So I'm just going to write the divide number rather than writing the whole decimal point. So if I divide by 2.154815164 on this side, that disappears. I'm just left with A, and I've just got to do 30 divided by that on my calculator. So 30 divided by 2.154815164, and I end up with 13.9223072, and we are working out A, so I'm just going to round that now, 13.9 centimeters to 1 decimal place, and there we are. Okay, pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, let's do another one like this, and then we look at working out the angle when we're going backwards. So another question like this would be, if I draw myself another triangle. Okay, we're going to say that's 28 degrees. That's X, and that's 10 centimeters. And I know the area, which is 25 meters squared. I'm just going to, okay, right, there we are. Rightio. Right, we have a bit of a problem here now, because if you have a look, our area is a meter squared, but that there is 10 centimeters. So we need to obviously change that. So we know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So if I want to go from centimeters to meters, I've got to divide by 100. So 10 divided by 100 is 0.1. So I'm going to rewrite that as 0.1 meters. So area of a triangle is, well, a half AB sine C equals the area. A half AB sine C is the area, which is 25. Okay, now I've got a half times, well, I'm going to say that's A and that's B. Okay, so 0.1 times B times sine 28 equals 25. Now again, I'm going to times this out. I'm going to do 0.5 times 0.1 times sine 28. Okay, and I end up with 0.02347357814 times B equals 25. Well, how do I get rid of a times by 0.02347357814? Well, I divide by both sides by that. So if I divide this side here by 0.02347357814, I end up with just B. I'm just going to do 25 divided by that on my calculator. Okay. And I end up with, okay, let's have a look. Just typing that into my calculator. Okay, and I end up with 1065.027234. Okay, and I'm just going to write that as 0.65.03, and it's meters, and I'm going to write that as 2 decimal place. And if you have a look at that, that's incorrect, isn't it? That's not right. So let's double check our answer. Maybe there's a mistake in this question. I've taken this question from a paper. So let's have a look. That is correct, isn't it? So I want to work out 10 centimeters. So how did I get from 100 to 10? I divide that by 10, didn't I? Okay, so we're going to do the same. 1 divided by 10 is 0.1. That is correct. We have worked that out correct, unless there's a mistake in that, and that's supposed to be centimeters squared. So if I don't change that, I'm just going to have a look. That's not a right answer, is it? Because if that's 0.1 meters, how can that side there be 1065.03 meters? So sometimes there can be mistakes on textbooks, etc. So if we work it out without that, let's do half times 10 times b times sine 28 equals 25. Let's just double check. There might be a mistake on this. 0.5 times 10 times sine 28, and I end up with 2.347357814 times b equals 25. I'm going to divide both sides by the decimal. Oh, much better. 10.65. Oops. 0.27234. Okay, so on the textbook that I looked at this question, that was in meters squared and that was in centimeters, but obviously there is a mistake there. And I'm going to write 10.7 centimeters. Okay, so I can get rid of that there. We do not need this whole meters situation. Rub that out. Okay, and there we are. Okay, get rid of that as well. So it's worth checking always. Okay, sometimes you can have some mistakes. Right, let's have a look at a question where you have to work out the angle this time and go backwards. Let's hope there's not a mistake on this question. Okay, so we've got the angle there, which is theta. We've got 15 centimeters. We've got 12 centimeters there. And I'm going to say that the area is 75 centimeters squared. Let's double check. Centimeters, yes. Right, so the area is actually a half AB sine C, isn't it? Well, my area is 75. A half times, well, my A would be 12 and my B would be 15 times sine C. Can't do anything with the 75, that stays as it is. Let's times 0.5 times 12 times 15, that's 90 times sine C. Well, how do I get rid of a times by 90? Well, I've got to divide by 90 on both sides. Well, 75 divided by 90 is, oh, right, it's 0.83 recurring, or simplified fraction is 5/6. I'm going to leave it as a fraction because I don't want any rounding issues. 90 divided by 90, nothing, just left with sine C. Now, looking back at trigonometry rules, you will remember that in order to get rid of the sine from the C, because we just want to be left with the angle, which C is theta. So you could here just replace C with theta if you wanted to, which I can do. 5/6 equals sine theta, because the angle is theta. I have to do sine minus 1. So on my calculator, I'm going to do sine minus 1 of 5 divided by 6. Oh, and I end up with 56.4 degrees, and that's just to 1 decimal place. Okay, there we are, nice and simple and straightforward. Okay, let's do one last one like this where we're working backwards to work out the angle. Okay, I've got theta there. I've got 14 centimeters. I've got 11 centimeters here. Okay, so, and the area here is 52 centimeters squared. Okay, so the area is a half AB sine C. Area is 52. I'm going to say my A is 11 and my b is 14 times sine theta. Can't do anything with the 52, it stays as it is. But I can do 0.5 times 11 times 14. That gives me 77 times sine theta. How do I get rid of times by 77? Divide by 77. Okay, that there is a recurring decimal as well, so I'm just going to leave it as 52 over 77 as I don't want any rounding issues. 77 divided by 77 is 1. 1 times sine theta is just sine theta. To get rid of sine, I've got to do inverse. And so I've got to do sine minus 1 of 52 divided by 77, and I end up with 42.5 degrees to 1 decimal place, and there we are. We have worked out how to work out the area of a triangle using a half AB sine C, and then obviously going backwards to work out the angle and to work out one of the side lengths, and we've also looked at where the formula comes from. I hope this lesson was useful. Thank you for watching.